piece of highway that we're bypassing has one of the highest fatality rates and serious accident rates of any rural highway in Oregon.
Well, the new road's going to be much wider. There's going to be safety shoulders. There's going to be passing opportunities where the old alignment, that 10-mile stretch that we're replacing, that doesn't have.
The contractor currently employs approximately 370 employees out here full-time during the summer. To put that in perspective, that adds $1 million weekly in payroll.
Nestled in the hills of Oregon's Coast Range in rural Lincoln County, the Oregon Department of Transportation is moving massive amounts of dirt, blasting rock outcroppings, and protecting streams and watersheds for the largest new road and bridge construction project since the building of the interstate. This is US 20 Pioneer Mountain to Eddyville project. It creates 6 miles of new road, builds 10 towering bridges, and bypasses a 10-mile section of the old highway.
The visibility is going to be a lot better because it's a straighter shot. Motorists will feel safer to pass, and it'll be safer for motorists in both directions.
Secondarily to that is we have a number of industries down in the Newport and Toledo areas that receive truck traffic from the interstate freeway, and the size of truck traffic cannot safely make it through a number of curves up here. So it becomes a safety issue as well as an economic issue to bring freeways legal trucks through the area.
Because much of the road is elevated, it will offer unique vistas, making this highway one of the most scenic routes to the Oregon coast. It will be beautiful and safer for residents, tourists, recreationists, and freight haulers. This is not an easy project, and there is much to be done before the scheduled completion date of 2011. One of the biggest challenges in this remote location is a combination of high, steep slopes, deep valleys, and earth movement.
Early on, prior to the contract being awarded, ODOT as well as others in industry recognize that the Coast Range is fraught with landslide issues. We see it all up and down the coast. Every year the public sees roadway closures to just relatively small landslides. The challenge at Pioneer Mountain Project, though, is the size of our landslides and the depth and magnitude of them. Some of our landslides may well exceed 20 million cubic yards. To put that in perspective, this project and all the excavation around it is only 4 million cubic yards. So there are several ways to take a look at those landslides and how we address those to keep them stable. When you add load to a landslide, a large fill, it can destabilize what looks like a relatively stable area. When that happens, we can get movement down slope. And why that's critical is obviously we have a roadway on top of that fill and largely bridges attached to every single fill. So we don't want the fill to fail nor the bridge.
Huge buttresses, rock walls buried at the base of these slide-prone hills, have been built to stabilize earth movement. Some buttresses extend through creeks, which means special steps are taken to reduce environmental impact.
What some of us realize is that the creeks out here are so steep, they're on the order of 6% to 30% slope, so they're very steep. That means we could build a buttress in the creek and carry the creek up and over that buttress, and then we revegetate. There's a process of approximately a year and a lot of visits by regulatory agencies and review and technical review and public review to get to the point where we are today, where we're buttressing in creeks. We're starting to rebuild the creeks up and over these buttresses, and we effectively have safe fills and bridges.
The project also includes the creation of a 5.5-acre wetland area, a larger acreage than the small amount affected by the project. With more than 100 inches of rainfall common in the Coast Range, erosion control becomes a critical issue. One way to address the effects of this much rain on a construction site is through the extensive use of long tubes of straw-filled mesh called wattles. If left unprotected, the open, exposed soil of the project could be flushed into nearby streams, with a potentially life-choking impact on fish populations. Prior to the rainy season, the exposed hillsides are planted with grass using a hydro-seeding technique and specialized seed product developed for use in steep terrain. The grass seed is coated in a natural fiber material which impedes erosion until the grass can take root and protect the soil. About 450,000 pounds of the fiber, seed, and fertilizer are sprayed each year. The heavy winter rains also affect the project's operation. While the project length is described in years, in reality, it is days, with only 120 days of earth moving in a construction year.
Even though it's only approximately 120 days long from June 1st to August 31st, they work very hard and very diligent throughout the day. They put in 10-hour days and 2 shifts. So we're working 20 hours a day on this project.
Because the new road slices straight through the Coast Range rather than following the curves of the valley, a lot of earth must be moved to create an even and consistent road grade. The tops of hills are cut off. That material is then used to fill the low-lying areas. These so-called cuts and fills represent a significant part of the project. But since 55% of the earth and rock moved in this project cannot be dug or scraped, it is drilled, filled with explosives, and blasted. When the winter rains make earth moving impossible, construction continues on the bridge structures. 10 bridges are part of the project with a total span of 4,100 feet.
They span anywhere from a 2-span bridge over Trap Creek and the UPRR rail bridge at the west end to the bridge behind me in the background, which is the Crystal Creek Bridge. This bridge is going to be approximately 1,200 feet long and 230 feet high, 7 spans. It's founded on drilled shafts, which are holes that are bored into the ground, and we put a rebar cage in, and we place concrete in it, and then we build our columns, and that's what they're in the middle of doing.
Because US 20 is considered a lifeline route to coastal residents, the new bridges will be built to withstand a magnitude 9 earthquake. Another contribution of the project is to the modern-day economy.
The contractor currently employs approximately 370 employees out here full-time during the summer and a lesser staff during the winter months when construction slows down, but we carry approximately 80 folks full-time year-round. The contractor's staff consists of 95% Oregonians, and so they've learned new skills from operating tractors to bulldozers to dump trucks to how to build fills or erosion control, so there's new skill sets been gained.
One benefit the project offers may in fact be priceless for engineers and builders like project manager Joe Squire and assistant project manager Eric Knapp. Not only is the project the largest of its type underway in Oregon, it is the first new road construction in the state in more than 30 years, giving the industry technical experience it hasn't had or used in more than a generation.
So this is a new challenge not only for ODOT but also the regulatory agencies, because there's no institutional knowledge on how a roadway system is carved through a virgin alignment, essentially, and all the pitfalls and benefits that come with that.
You know, the pride of this project, anybody that comes and works on this project just has pride in being part of something very unique. This is an opportunity of a lifetime for anybody within ODOT, let alone outside of ODOT. And there is pride in ownership. The people that work on this project have great ownership in it, and the quality that they put out is the tops.
More than just a roadway and more than just a project, US 20 Pioneer Mountain to Eddyville is improving safety, enhancing commerce, and providing an overall better experience for the traveling public.